Hello, it's your boys back again with a video so exciting. We really cannot be held responsible for your safety after watching it. Well, either that or it's the usual turgid dross we dish out when we can be bothered. Whatever. Either way, today I'm gonna compare Queen's debut album, simply called Queen, with the remixed version I just recently got as part of the luxury box set, and there's an unboxing video link above if you're so inclined. They've called, rather imaginatively, Queen 1. And yes, this video has been done before, but this is my take with my opinions, and trust me, just like my principles, if you don't like them, I have others. Anyway, why the name change of the album in the first place? Well, I guess that when they brought the debut out, they'd no idea whether there'd ever be a follow-up or not, so calling it Queen 1 then might have been seen as overconfidence or a bit presumptuous maybe. Anyhow, this modern version is renamed Queen 1. Let's have a look at the physical attributes first, shall we, before diving into the sonic differences. The sleeve, or jacket, whatever you prefer, is a very nice item indeed, printed on top quality cardstock. The band name is also embossed in gold rather than just plainly printed, and the colours are a little more vibrant or saturated, I would say. Though for comparison, here is my copy, which I believe is a first UK pressing from way back in 1973. So it's possible the colours are faded a little, though I do store my records carefully and certainly out of any direct sunlight. The EMI logo from the bottom left corner of the original is missing, as is a little blob of white light from that 1973 copy. Either that or there's a bit of Tipex on my original, maybe, I don't know. The rear sees the original artwork being printed, but the wording has changed, with the new version only displaying the track listing with the notes and credits from the original now long gone. The record, in a lovely polylined archival inner liner, now displays a custom Queen label in place of the original generic EMI one, which I think I'd have preferred to have been used for the sake of originality on this newer release, to be honest. The record also comes with a lyric sheet, which the original sadly did not. One other obvious change before taking the record out and giving it a listen is the inclusion of the track Mad the Swine, which was not on the original for, I think, length reasons. Either that or the record company didn't like it. Right then, let's have a look at this new record. It's on 180 gram vinyl, and it certainly looks all lovely, new and clean, and I have to say it plays perfectly flat and silently on my new Audio Technica turntable. And more on that purchased in the coming weeks, maybe. On listening, it's plain to hear that this is not just a remaster, but a complete remix of the original album. The sound is thicker and heavier, with Brian May again saying that this is the sound the band wanted, but couldn't get due to time and cost restraints back in the early 1970s. The new sound is particularly noticeable in the drums acoustics. They seem a lot richer and deeper. Now, I don't know whether Roger Taylor re-recorded them in full or in part, or whether the engineers were just able to lift this extra clarity from the master tapes. Now, apparently, Trident Studios, where the original was recorded, was famed for its unique drum sound. Now, as a drummer of no fixed ability, I do have to say, though, that I prefer the sound of the drums on this remix. They have more attack and just seem more precise, hitting you harder, really. This is really noticeable on the opening Keep Yourself Alive, and then on Liar and Modern Times Rock and Roll. Because it's a more modern sound, I guess, for the drums. As for the guitars, Brian May has said that he did re-record or enhance some of the playing on the remix, and that doesn't surprise me one bit, knowing how much of a perfectionist he is. Again, I have to say that I do prefer the sound of the new remix in this regard. As for Freddie Mercury's vocals, I'm not going to add to the debate on to what extent they were pitch corrected or not, but I will say that to mess with the maestro's voice is a total travesty and completely unnecessary in my opinion. After all, you can't You can't improve on perfection after all. If Freddie was sharp or flat in parts, then he more than likely intended to be sharp or flat in parts. He intended it to be sung that way, and sadly, of course, we'll never ever know though. I must say, though, that all things considered, and having listened to both records back to back, that there is no doubt to my very much non-audiophile ears that the remix sounds better. It just sounds heavier, fuller, more modern, if you like, more exciting even. But, and here's the thing, I prefer the original from 1973. Why? Well, that's simple. Queen was their first record. The first time they laid tracks down on tape and then released them on a vinyl record or on a cassette. It's a milestone. It's a moment in the and music in general's history, because they're so massive. And it's imperfections and the experiences that they had when recording are all on there. If they'd gone on to say, Rockfield and locked themselves away for a month or so, then I dare say the record would have sounded very different, maybe the way they always intended it. But they didn't do that. They recorded it during studio downtime, working at all hours in London's then very seedy Soho, and that makes it the piece of work it was. Roger Taylor, for one, has spoken fondly of the experience with all the sights they saw there. You dirty bugger. The new record, fine as it is not a piece of history. It's not their debut album. Yes, Brian May might have said it's the record they always wanted to make in 1973, but they didn't make it in 1973. The original was made by four, admittedly, very talented, but still very raw and inexperienced musicians, particularly in the studio. And that comes across in the charm of that original recording. Now, this modern remix, it can never recapture the originality of the original. Now, I'm still glad I bought the box set. It is a lovely thing, and the book is a real treat for any Queen fan, as are the demos and live recordings. If they do it again for Queen 2, and especially for my favourite Queen album at the moment, G Heart Attack, I will be buying those boxes. Now listen, if you're just getting into Queen now as a new fan, and frankly you really should, then do yourself a massive, massive favour and get an early copy of their debut first. By all means then get this version, this remix, if for no other reason than to hear Mad the Swine properly and get a lyric sheet. But realise that as good as it is, and as excellent as it is now acoustically, it's not their real debut. There, I've said it. I've been controversial on my channel. Watch the hate in the comments come flooding in. Well, perhaps flooding is an exaggeration. Trickling, maybe. I might get a comment. Probably not. Until next time, be nice to each other, okay? And as Freddie would say,
I mean, it's only a bloody record. People get so excited about these things. I mean...